James Foster here, and today we are going to be talking about tollgate joint ventures. This is one of the most exciting and lucrative forms of offline marketing that I've ever been involved in. It's really exciting because the only thing you really have to put into it is a little bit of sweat equity, and other than that, you are using 100% of other people's assets and resources. So you don't have to do a whole lot, and you can collect very big checks as long as this works out. And, 90% of the time it does. So this will be a great little thing that you can do in your business that can make you a whole lot of money for really just facilitating a deal. So let's take a look at it here. What you're really going to be doing is just putting two parties together. One company is going to have a product, one company is going to have a customer base, and then essentially you're just going to collect a percentage for putting the deal together. So I've got a magazine on my lap here. It happens to be a copy of the Robb Report. This will be kind of a high-end example, and you can do this with pretty much anything, anywhere you want. But here's just an idea here. Let me flip open to a random page. Okay. Well, on this particular page, they happen to be selling some art. Fine art, it looks like it starts at about $25,000 for a piece. Okay, so that's a product. Who could we sell that to? Who would be interested in buying that high-end of art? Let's flip through a couple more pages here. Let's see what we get. Haha, perfect. Okay, so who would be interested in having high-end art? How would you know that they could afford the high-end art? Obviously, this is the Robb Report, so some of the items are in that price range. Who would be perfect for this? People who buy and own high-end luxury cars. I'm talking about E-Class Mercedes. I'm talking about some of the I-Series of BMWs. The reason I thought of this is because the page I happened to open to was, what's the name of this? An Aston Martin ad. So, Aston Martin, obviously, of course, Ferraris and Lamborghinis, exotic cars in general. And now, with this, obviously, you wouldn't go, say, right to Ferrari and suggest they do this. I mean, you could. That absolutely could work. But you'd probably want to have some relationships inside of Ferrari before you got into that. And that's going to be the one big thing that you're going to need to work on, and that you're going to spend most of your time on, is building relationships. Building relationships if you're going to do this in your local community, or if you're going to be doing this outside of your local community. So you start going to industries, or however you want to do that, start getting to know people. This can be done without it. I generally do it without it because it is such a win-win proposition with little risk that it works out. But it obviously is always going to help to have somebody that you already know and knows you to get this going. So, but like I was saying, what you can do here is set up a joint venture. You go to an exotic car dealership. They're going to have a list of their past clients, and what you're going to do is you're going to propose to them that they, set the magazine down here, is that they send an endorsed mailer to their list of customers, and you're going to send a direct mail. Send a direct mail letter to their past customers on their company letterhead endorsing this high-end art. And for that, you're going to get a percentage. Because what you're basically doing is you're creating value for the exotic car dealership, because this is money that is basically found money to them, that it's something that they don't really have to put any work in, because all you're going to do is mail their mailing list, and they get a percentage of sales that they don't have to fulfill any obligations on. They don't have to handle any of the art, any of the shipping, any of that. All they're doing is mailing an asset and is mailing their mailing list, and for everyone that buys, they get a percentage and you get a percentage. So it's not a bad deal. This obviously is going to be also beneficial to the art company, because this type of advertising is going to be so much cheaper than what they're used to doing. and you can normally work it out, so there's almost no risk at all. If you can set it up so the art dealer doesn't have to pay for the mailing, maybe depending on how large of a chunk you're getting out of it, you might want to pay for the mailing, but it wouldn't be too hard at all to get. It's still not going to be hard to get the art company to pay for the mailing. Why? Because they're used to paying tens of thousands of dollars just to put a full-page ad in magazines. Now, whereas if they can pay $10,000 and reach 5, 10, 20,000 customers of people who have bought high-end cars, that's going to be significantly a better investment for them. So it's a win-win. And yeah, when you set up the deal, basically what you would just do is set it up. I've done it in the past where you'll just set up a deal and you tell them they split it 50-50, but you're taking 25% off the product side and 25% off the customer side, or off the mailing list side. So you can easily make quite a bit of money. That now, in this particular example, that figure amount, taking 25% off each side, might be a bit high. If they sell 10 paintings at 25 grand a piece, that's $250,000 right there. If you got, say, 10% of that and only made 25 grand, that's still not a bad deal. So yeah, in this type of situation, you're probably going to be taking less. Depending on the products, you generally, obviously it's going to vary from market to market, but if you're going with a regular product that has a large customer base and you find somebody with a mailing base in the 100,000 client range, you're just hoping to generally take something around $50 per item sold. So that's kind of a general rule of thumb that is. And that, like again, that all depends on the product, the customer list, how you set up the deal. The amount you make is completely up to you, and that's one of the beautiful things about this is you are setting this up for yourself to be the person that they have to deal with for either side to benefit. And because of that, you're going to make the lion's share of the profit. Now, this is the 4-hour consultant, right? We don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing this. So what we're going to do is you're going to pick your industry that you want to work in. I mean, if you've got some interests, you've got magazines regarding, like I said, I just looked at this in the Rob report here. So just pick something that interests you, pick a niche industry, start flipping through it, look at the ads, and just think about who you can match up with one another. Find people with products, find people with mailing lists, and then essentially what you're just going to do is send letters to each of them. Now, in the past, I've talked about a trick for mailing FedEx letters for $1 instead of $6 a piece, or overnighting them. You do not want to do this with this technique. With this, you want to spend the money, and you want to go direct overnight mail with FedEx. You need to come across as a person of value. There's no cheapskating on this one. There's no going cheap on it. All right. So you need to spend the money and overnight the letters. What you're going to do is it's going to be a multi-step process, because you want to make a substantial amount of money. So it's hard to get someone in bed on the first date. You know what I mean? It's hard to get married right away. So you need multi-step process to really let them understand what you're doing without telling them too much, and let them get to know you, so they know that you're for real and you're not some fly-by-night company who's just going to steal their assets and who knows what. Alright? So what you're going to start out with here is an approach letter. The approach letter is simply just going to state that you're going to be calling in the next few days because you have an opportunity for them that is no risk, because, like I said, for either side, there's no risk really involved. If the mailer goes bad, the mailer goes bad. I guess the only people who would have any risk would be the people paying for the mailer. They're not going to, even if they don't sell anything neither side is going to lose any credibility to their client base. I mean, just because, say we're looking at it from the point of view of the exotic car dealership. If they mail a letter to their clients and no one happens to buy, that really doesn't affect their reputation as far as a car dealership goes. And really what they're just doing is trying to put something that they feel would be beneficial to their customers in front of them. So that's not really going to hurt anyone's reputation. It's going to cost almost nothing, especially for the, again, the exotic car dealership, because more than likely they're not going to be paying for the mailer. So it's just the use of their database, and with a good non-disclosure agreement, obviously that's not going to, they're not going to have to worry about anyone using their database that they don't want to. So, like I said, it's really low risk, win-win for everyone, high rate of success with a high profit margin. And so essentially what you're going to do in this approach letter is tell them that. You're going to explain them how it benefits them, and then essentially say they can reach you at whatever number, or if they're busy, you will call them in a couple days, generally probably Thursday. So what I would do is I would take this letter, overnight FedEx it on a Monday, so they get it on a Tuesday, and they'll have all day Tuesday and all day Wednesday to call you back if they're going to. And let's be honest, in 90% of the cases that's not going to happen. It's rare that you're going to find someone who is that enthusiastic about it, because these are business people. They have other things to do. They might very well be interested in it, but they're not going to hound you. They're not going to come after you to find it, okay? So expect that there's going to be some follow-up. And then you can do a follow-up appointment call. Now, if you have the time, you can do this, but since this is the 4-hour consultant, you would probably want to hire a business-to-business telemarketer off of Odesk, and to get more information about that kind of thing, listen to the interview I did with Liam that's in this package here. And what you're going to do is find someone who's going to follow up and set the appointment. And that's really all they're going to do on this first call, is set the appointment. So you would just, what I think I would do here in this situation is I would find someone in the Philippines who has good English, sounds good on the phone, doesn't have very much of an accent, and I would just have them call the leads that you sent out to. Alright, so, and this would take almost, well, probably just an hour or two of of paying for that telemarketer, because obviously not everyone's going to be interested every time, and all they're doing is setting the appointment. They're just going to call, more than likely talk to the secretary. Secretary will see if there was a message left for the head of the business, if the head of the business left a message to let these people go through and talk to them. If they do, then essentially what they're just going to say is they're going to get on the line with the decision maker and say, "Hi, Mr. Decision Maker, I'm calling from James Foster and Associates. We sent you a letter the other day, wanted to see if you got a chance to read it. You didn't? No? Oh, that's too bad. Well, it's a really win-win situation." Explain it to them again. Or if they did, "Oh, you did get a chance to read it. Great. Well, what I want to do here today is just set up an appointment call with you later in the week or early next week where we can seriously sit down and talk about it. Unfortunately, I don't have time today, and so what we'll do is I'll just set up a time where one of my associates will call back and they'll explain to you exactly what's going on, because I just don't have time to really do it justice here over the phone. I really want you to understand the benefit and how much money could be added to your bottom line simply by doing this without any risk. So that person sets the appointment. Alright, so they set the appointment, and then it goes to the pitch call. The pitch call comes up on that day that you and the business owner arranged, and this can be done one of two ways. Obviously, again, if you can find time, you could call them and pitch it yourself, or what you could do is you could hire someone to do it for you. And I would probably do this on a performance basis. You'd want to explain them what's going to happen, explain the pitch to them, and pay them. Well, this will be up to you. You could either pay them a fixed fee of 50, $100 or whatever would be appropriate for you for the deal and who you're working with if they close it, or you could give them a percentage of what you make once the whole deal goes through. Either way works. You can set it up to happen no matter what. Again, listen to the call with Liam, and we'll be talking more about outsourcing and how to pay people, that kind of thing. Okay, so you've pitched the agreement, you've got both sides to agree. Now you just need to close the deal. Depending on the size of the company you work with, if you're going to work with local companies, this probably won't be an issue, but with bigger companies, you can run into issues with lawyers and such. So a good thing to do here is send them a closing information packet that is essentially just going to outline the deal itself, what their obligations are, what your obligations are, to make sure everything goes off without a hitch, and send that to them, as well as your agreement for the joint venture, your non-disclosure agreements, the deal itself. And that's about it. It's really not that difficult. I know it's a few steps and it seems like it can be complicated, but it's generally not too bad. So yeah, that is a tollgate joint venture. It's really simple. I mean, I think you can see the benefit of it here just as you flip through a magazine and see who you could match up. Now, another thing that you can do, and this kind of just came to mind, I haven't done this myself or anything, but say you go to a sports store. Say you've got a hunting, fishing, all season sports store kind of place. A Dunham's type of place that sells everything related to sports. Now, what if you could talk them into mailing their list, even say just an email list, about a great product that you know and that you have as a client, and that particular product is a digital product, and it sells, and what they would get out of it is 35 to 40% of everything that's sold. They agree, great. You can go on to ClickBank and promote, say, I don't know, no nonsense muscle building or the 6-pack abs, one of those, and then essentially mail that as an email to Dunham's customers list. See how easy that would be? And you can do that on a local scale as well. And obviously everything would be sent to your ClickBank account, and then once you get paid that, you would just simply pay out to the 40% or whatever you arranged with the distributor who had the mailing list. Not bad at all. So that's a nice little hybrid of offline-online marketing you can do as its own little tollgate joint venture, and that can make you a whole lot of money all by itself. But yeah, so that's a tollgate joint venture. You're essentially putting yourself in between the two. You're going to approach one and say, hey, I can make you a whole lot of extra money. You've got a great asset. I've got someone who has a complementary asset. If you're interested, I will put you two together. There is really no risk because it's not going to cost much of anything, and there's no way of hurting your reputation or your business or your bottom line by doing this. So, are you interested in this? Yes? Okay. Do it with the same person, the side one, the product side, and the side two, the distribution side. Now, obviously, for this, the distribution side is going to be the most important. You can always find products. Products are so easy to find. They're everywhere. I mean, look at the internet marketing world. Products are everywhere. On the other hand, finding a good customer list is not as easy. So search those out first. Tie that up. You can find a product just about anywhere in any market. Okay? So that would be my final suggestion to you. Again, I'm James Foster. This is a tollgate joint venture. It can be very, very, very profitable, and you can set multiple ones up at any given time. So, and if you do it right, you'll get paid monthly because the people you set up are going to keep on with this arrangement. So you can get paid checks every single month for just setting up one simple agreement. Not a bad deal. Alright everyone, have a good one. Bye.